is also a software program. Very important.
It's a way of communicating.
The applications on the phone, yeah, that's the app.
Only credit I want to use.
The Apple Store, was launched in July 2010, 2008.
The American Daily Society named app as the word of the year for 2010.
The mobile app revenue that is churning out, $34.94 billion. We have the free mobile app and PDF. So you just click on that. What Sajam basically does is that when you install it on your phone, you just bring it closer to where the sound is coming from.
I'm going to turn it on and see how it's going to show inside.
Something that we can easily put together even in our homes.
That game was quite hectic, but trust me, I've been able to score a couple of goals here and there. Today on TechSpot, we are talking video games, everything video games on phones and also on computers. What is a favorite game? It could be Grand Theft Auto, it could be Candy Crush, it could be basketball. Mine, it's soccer. So what is a favorite game? I asked once again. My name is B-Main and this is TechSpot. You're welcome. Video games have become a form of an art and an industry. As of 2015, over 74 billion have been recorded as the sales for just video games, and it is the third largest segment in the world of entertainment in USA. So in general terms, how would you define games? We've sampled some views and this is what the public have to say about video games. Just when we come back, Krema is here to give us a detailed analysis about how games have come so far and how they have evolved over the years as I go back and enjoy my game. Krema, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I know of some Nintendos and other games or something. But the Alpha Moto is a foreign game. Temple Run definitely is a foreign game. And then a few others that I know, but I've not really come across an app or a game designed by a Ghanaian. I like playing soccer and adventure games. I can spend the whole day playing that game.
I'm not a fan of games, so I'm not much into it.
FIFA 2014.
You know of the FIFA that every guy plays, and a few games are around like Nintendo and the rest. So I don't spend a lot of time on games.
I have Temple Run. I don't use it, but then I have it. And Candy Crush. Candy Crush is just, you're just crushing candies. It's silly, but it's nice.
I play Road Rash, Zuma, and those ones. Yes.
I have some games. The Zuma game, the Temple Run, I have those games on the phone. I prefer the Temple Run, so maybe I'll rate the Temple Run maybe 70%.
I play chess, pinball, I play Subway Surfers. Yeah, so those are the kind of games I play on it.
No, actually I don't play games on my computer, never ever. My phone too, no, never ever. I just use my computer for serious things. I never play games on my phone or on my laptop.
I do play Temple Run, that's all. Sometimes 1 hour or 30 minutes, then I'm done.
Unless you want me to go back into time, the Nintendo, the Mario, but now I'm not really into game.
It is exciting to come to you again with today's edition on TechSpot, and we are talking about games. Most importantly, video games. Are you a video game lover? Are you an excited person when you're playing games? Or you are the one that feels shy in playing games? Today, we want to demystify all the things about video games, playing on consoles, playing on your PC, and even on your mobile phone. What is a video game? Video game basically is an electronic game that is played by manipulating moving images on display, and often a play which is normally designed and programmed on a console. I say console because video games are meant for high definition images, sound effects, and very fast moving play. So when you're playing a video game, it has so many effects that you can have. Today I want to take a look at the history of video games, how it has evolved from when it started to date. We're also going to take a look at what factors you need to consider when you are choosing a game. look at the benefits and challenges of video gaming. We'll also look at some statistics that video games in terms of business has accrued over the period of time. And also talk about some of the examples of the games, your favorite games that you normally play. So, I mean, as you can see from behind, some of them are enjoying themselves playing those video games. Examples of those nice, interesting games that you can either download or play at home on your PCs, on your mobile phones, or your consoles. It began way back in 1958 when a physicist known as William Higginbotham created what it was termed to be the first video game, and it was a simple tennis game that was played. And it was similar to the 1970s ping pong game that was also what created after that. It was a hit in those times. Then came 1950, where we had a chess being developed. Who did that? It was Claude Shannon, who developed a basic programming guideline that helped to design what chess was supposed to be played on. And in his article called Programming a Computer for Playing Chess, it developed a lot of interesting debates as to how chess was developed. In that same year, an Englishman, Alan Turing, created a similar chess program to that effect. In 1957, Alex Bernstein wrote a new classic program that also showed how chess was developed in an IBM computer, which was those times was an old IBM computer. We were about 704 IBM computer. That was one of the first computers that IBM produced. And it was another classic way of bringing up video games. A new train of video games came up, and I can bet you they revolutionized the gaming industry. In 1989, Nintendo was developed. It was a new gaming platform developed by a Japanese person. And Nintendo had a simple game tools that people used. It had what we call the Game Boy that a lot of people started using. The Game Boy was the first handheld system that was used. And it got a lot of hits on the market. But it did not stop there. Then came another one, which was developed by Microsoft. And I know a lot of you will attest to that fact. It was the Solitaire. Solitaire was put on the Windows 3.0 operating system. And it was basically on the operating system. When you go to games, you can easily find to play. Those were another interesting ways where people who did not even like games, when they sit behind their computers, easily accessed and played. It brought a new dimension into the gaming industry. In 1995, Sony released what we call the PlayStation. And at that time, it was selling about $100. And in that market, there was an already existing game which was called the Sega. And it overcame that market to the extent that Sega was even booted out of the market. And it helped PlayStation increase their market value to the extent that Sega went out of business. PlayStation now is being played on so many homes. Apart from PlayStation, which was released by Sony, Xbox also was released by Microsoft. It was another interesting gaming that came into the gaming industry. Not only do we have those Xboxes, the PlayStations, and what we have, but we have online games that a lot of people download via and play even online. Today we can talk about the Angry Birds, the Candy Crushes, which are now on, what do you call it, on your phones and your tablets and all that. And they have become very easy to access on the internet and even on your phones, your tablets, and what you have. I mean, you'll be wondering what a console is, right? When I say console, they are specially designed hardwares that have inbuilt capabilities of a very high definition video cards, high definition sound effects, and vibration effects, as you can know. I mean, let me give you a typical example. When you're playing FIFA 2014, and you hit the goalpost. One of the input devices that you use, which is the game pads, has some vibration effect which you feel. That is what the consoles brings. And that is the effect I'm talking about. I know you felt some of those vibrations while you're playing those interesting games. So that is what consoles brings to bear. And some of the input devices that we can have on video games, as I've mentioned, one is your game pads. Another one is what we call joysticks. Your PC games, while you use your keyboards to be able to play. If you are not very good at keyboard gaming, you really don't really enjoy playing video games. The best one I can recommend you is the game pads, which is flexible, it's easy to use, and I mean, very simple that you can be able to use. Now let's look at PC games. PC games, as the word implies, PC is your personal computer, and PC games are games that are found or that are designed specifically to be played on your personal computers at home. And it basically has your monitor, has the CPU and your keyboard to play with. But at times, PC games also has other output devices where you can use your keypad connected on the USB port to play. So the PC games are designed in such a way that the capabilities of the PCs are maximized. So when you're playing a game on the PCs, you need to look at certain requirements that the game needs. And basically, for PC games, you need to look at the following. One, you need to look at your graphics. Two, you need to look at your system processing requirements. So if your processing speed is very small, I mean, you will see that when you're playing the game, it doesn't really move very fast and doesn't really play to your satisfaction. You also need to look at your memory size, because if your memory size is big enough, it processes the games and it makes it more interesting. And also the last thing you need to look at is your monitor. If you have a very small monitor, the games and the people that you are looking will be so small. But if you have a bigger monitor, or you can even connect it to your TV at home, it makes songs and it makes video playing very, very interesting. So PC games, some of the examples I like to give for PC games are what we call the FIFA games. You can get Halo, you can get Crisis. Now we have the latest Crisis, which is Crisis 4. We have, there are so many. I will give you more examples later when we come back on the show. The next one I want to talk about is your handheld games devices, handheld games. Those ones are found that are specifically designed for you to hold. And those ones are your tablets, your phones, or specifically some PDAs that have been designed. In those days when Nintendo came, you remember when we had the Game Boy, which was one of the handheld devices. I used to play all those things, the brick games, the Marios and all that. Those were the handheld games or devices that we all knew. So we have the consoles, we have the PC games, and we have the handheld games for you. Now that we've taken a look at your video consoles, your PC games, and your handheld devices, and explained what video games is all about, and looking at the history and how it has evolved, one would want to, consider certain things when you want to choose a video game. So there are 4 main factors that I want to explain to you or help you to know when you are choosing your video games. Number 1 is what we call the sentiments. Sentiments basically is what people like, feel, and know about the games that they play. So for example, if new games come, like we have the FIFA 15, which I really like a lot of people go onto their social networks and talk about the game. The more people talk about the game, the more excitement it brings, the more people go there to have a feel and want to play. Those are the kind of sentiments I'm talking about. So if you look at the sentiments that people are expressing on social media networks and look at the gauge in which it is building up, the interest, the excitement, helps you to know that this game will be a very good game or it's going to be a very nice game. So that is number 1, the sentiment that people hold on a particular video game. The second point we would like to consider is the genre. The genre basically talks about the various categories that people really like to get their games from. We have about 4 main genres that we can have. So one is the action adventure, and for action games or for shooting games, for example, you can see that we have Halo being played on our console here, and for sports game we have our FIFA 15, which is also being played there. Very, very interesting one. And for arcade or sports game, we have Need for Speed. I think this one is the Rivals. I have played the Most Wanted one for some time now. But the arcade has speed, a lot of serious speeding games like the Most Wanted and all that. And on some of these speeding games or sports game, we can also have what we call Asphalt 8 Airborne, which is normally played on our tabs, on our phones, and all that. So this is the genre that you have to take a look. We also have the adventure game. The third point I want to go on is the price. And I know that is one of the factors that when you are considering games, you have to look at. How is it? Is it expensive? Is it less expensive? And does it have value for money? Will it excite you the way you want? And will it meet your pocket needs? I mean, for most of us in Africa, I know we like to download free games, a lot of free games. But let's try and purchase some of the games. If you have a console, definitely you need to purchase some of the video games that comes with the CDs and all that. But price is very, very important when considering a video game to buy. The last point I want to talk about is rating. When I say rating, I mean what people have judged a particular game and how it has fared. So for example, if a game is rated A+, you would definitely like to download that particular game and play. And in terms of rating, there are various things that people use to rate. One is the graphics. The extent to which your graphics is so well designed. Graphics plays a very important role in rating. The next thing is about the storyline. What kind of storyline is the game portraying? Is it one that makes you boring or makes you excited, or is one that will engage your mind to the extent that you wouldn't want to stop playing that game? So if you look at the storyline and how it has been rated, it will tell you whether you're choosing the right game or you're not choosing the right game. Well, if you are wondering whether video games has any business related issues, I just want to tell you that it is a multi-billion industry. And I want to give you some basic statistics that we have compiled from a source called Statistica, I mean, from the internet. The first one I want to talk about is the kind of revenue video games have generated from 2012 to 2015. And this is in billions of US dollars. If you look at 2012, mobile games has contributed about 9.28 billion US dollars, as against video games consoles, which has produced about $14.44 billion. That is in 2012. Now in 2013, mobile games has developed into a 13.21 billion industry in terms of revenue. PC games has also accrued about 17.72 billion US dollars in terms of revenue in 2013. Now when it comes to 2014, the trend increases. In 2014, PC games generated 17.17 billion US dollars. And video games console contributed 20.92 billion US dollars in revenue sales alone. And it is interesting in 2015, the trend even going higher and higher. Let's take a look. It has generated 21.6 billion US dollars, I mean, in terms of video game console sales. And for mobile games, it has contributed 22.01 billion US dollars. That is how revenue worldwide has generated in terms of games. Now let's take a look at the statistics of top-selling console games worldwide. And this is in 2014, based on the statistics that we have gathered so far. And this is in units of sale. The top-selling one is the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is a 3DS. And that one is sold 7.11 million units. The second one is the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on PS4. It sold 5.81 million units worldwide. The third one, which is one of my favorite, FIFA 2015 on PS4, sold a total of 5.65 million units worldwide. Then Grand Theft Auto 4, which is also on PS4, sold 5.4 million units as of 2014. Let me jump and go down to the last but two. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on Xbox One sold 3.87 million units as of 2014. And the last one we want to talk about is Watch Dogs, which is also on PS4, that sold 3.66 units as of 2014. I think you can attest to the fact that a lot of video games have been transformed into what? Movies. And what are some of these video games that have been transformed into movies that were best selling? The number one is Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia accrued a total of 330 million US dollars in terms of what? Revenue. The second one is Resident Evil. That is what? Afterlife. Resident Evil. Resident Evil is also a video game that was transformed into a movie industry game. The third one is Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider accrued a total of 270 million US dollars. The fourth one is Resident Evil Redemption. That accrued 240 million US dollars. The fifth one is Pokemon. And Pokemon accrued 160 million US dollars. There are other ones like Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, Pokemon 2000, and Mortal Kombat. And these are also very good video games that have been transformed into movies that really did very well in the movie industry. Where do you play your mobile games? On your phone, on your tablet? Where exactly do you play it? And a survey that was conducted in the US of about 85% of the population revealed some interesting stuff that I want to bring to your notice. The first one is 4% of the people who were surveyed said they play their mobile games while they are in church. 34% of people said they play their mobile games when they are in the loo. 45% said they play their mobile games whilst in bed, and around 11% said they play their mobile games while they are working out in the gym or what have you. But 50% out of that number said they play their games when they are traveling on the plane. 4% again said they are driving. That is more serious. How do you drive? Why do you drive when you are playing your game? That is an advice I want to give people. Don't play games when you are driving. But the larger chunk of people said they play their mobile games while they are sitting in their couch, which is about 60% of the total surveyed people that were done. We are still on TechSpot, and before we go to the next segment of our program, I want us to take a little bit of time and talk about the benefits that games accrue to us as individuals. For example, when you are playing a game like Age of Empires, you need to be able to be creative and create things that probably is not in existence. How to be able to maneuver yourself out of a very difficult situation. When you play Scrabble, you play chess, it makes you smart. It helps you to be able to think on your feet. And when you think on your feet whilst playing video games, it reflects in your own personality and even the things that you do outside even playing your video games. So it makes you smart when you play video games. That is very, very important. The next point is that it helps you in your problem-solving skills and also motivates you to be able to do more than usual. Because, for example, when you are playing a game like Need for Speed, you need to move from one level to another. When you're playing a game like Halo, when you're playing a game like Crisis, when you're playing a game like FIFA 2015, it has various levels. Just imagine playing FIFA 2015 and you start playing and you are scored or you are beaten like 5-0. There is a kind of zeal and excitement that you want to play and be able to win another game. That edge, that zeal in trying to figure out how to play those games and win games brings in you a kind of qualities that will enable you as a person imbibe within your own personality. So it makes you very smart, it makes you be able to think on your feet, and it makes you to also have that motivation to do a little bit more than you want to do on a usual basis. And the last one is it helps you in your cognitive skills, in your reasoning, in your analytical skills and all that. And there are a lot of games that helps your brain. And even though people might say that if you play games, you are a lazy person, for me, I beg to differ. I beg to differ that video games makes you lazy. Children are supposed to be allowed to play some games. If you do your homework, which your mother probably might allow you, yes, it will give you the opportunity to play a video game. It helps your cognitive skills to really improve. And I think playing games helps you even in your studies, even in your schools, in terms of learning and in terms of improving the way you also do things as well. So these are some of the basic benefits that games accrue to you. But again, there are some challenges that it accrues. If you don't apportionate enough time and space in playing your games, I mean, you become one of a lazy person. But I just want to encourage people that play games to one, ease your boredom, or to be able to look for new solutions and new ways of doing things. It is not bad to play video games, but too much of everything, as you know, is bad. So don't always play video games and do nothing, but play with purpose. You're still on TechSpot. This is Kramer. Stay tuned.
So that was Kramer coming in with something very insightful about games, talking about video games, phone games, and also computer games. Let's go straight to our top 10 PC games.
We were standing on the edge of discovery, fused in an unholy union of flesh.
Kirat, a country on the roof of the world in the legendary Himalaya tree, and created chaos. You will need bows, knives, guns.
Good job, guys. Yeah. All right. I'll get her. Okay. Wait, shit, the wall! The wall!
They're getting out of their cars. Some asshole from Lucky Joe's won't let us search his truck.
We were many. Now we are few. Filth. Witchers. The ultimate killing machines. Among us, a legend.
You're fast. You're smart. Agile. I could use your help.
I'm not a murderer.
Of course you are not.
My rival.